Hello everyone, this is Genius Yoshi, and today we are talking brooms, trying to sweep our opponent and, make use of the new payoffs from Ursula's Return that had a lot of brooms and a lot of payoffs. So let's go over these payoffs real quick. First one is Yen Sid. Yen Sid is a mix between the 2-drop Pinocchio that quests for 3 and a 3-drop Maleficent that draws a card with the Enter the Battlefield ability. Both effects are pretty good, and Yen Sid comes with both for a cheaper cost of 2 ink, which is quite impressive. Now you must have at least 1 broom on the battlefield in order to draw the card, and you must have at least 2 brooms on the battlefield for it to quest for 3. So we need many brooms for Yen Sid to pay off. We also have Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer, a new card in the steel ink that 3/4 resist 1, quest for 2, so fairly solid stats right off the bat, which is a good start. But his ability, whenever he enters the battlefield, you ping character, just poof, for X, where X is the number of brooms you control. So again, you want to have multiple brooms, and if you have, say, 3 brooms on the battlefield, then that's just a smash on a stick, and a decently sized stick at that. So I really like this Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer. And let's not forget about Mickey Mouse Wayward Sorcerer. Still a very powerful card from the first chapter that discounts all your brooms by 1 ink, and whenever they die through combat, they bounce back to your hand, which is a very strong ability. You were just lacking the brooms before. So all 3 of these cards are nice payoffs as long as you can put 2 or 3 brooms on the battlefield. So we want to go wide. We don't want to go big. And if you look at some of the new brooms, they're high costed, like a 6-drop or high costed uninkables. Those are the types of brooms we want to avoid. What we want are the cheaper brooms. And we want a critical mass, but we don't need our entire deck to be filled with brooms. So let's look at the brooms that I do want to include. So the first broom that I want to include is the little 1-drop Magic Room Illuminary Keeper that we see on the top left over here. A 1/2 for 1, and whenever you play another character, you can banish it to draw a card. So it's really a bad broom, but it's super cheap. And you can trade it in for a card if you find better brooms, or if you don't need to have the brooms on the battlefield. Which honestly is kind of what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for brooms to trigger my ability, so the cheaper the better, and that broom's going to do the trick. I'm quite happy to play this one. Then the second broom that I'm actually interested in playing, if we go to the right of our screen, there's Magic Broom Aerial Cleaner as a 2/3 steel card for 2. It's kind of the stats of a normal vanilla 2-drop. And it comes with the ability that we can challenge evasive characters. And it's not a great ability, but it allows us to deal with a bunch of pesky cards. It gives us a way to challenge Mickey Mouse Stylish Surfer, challenge a new Pegasus, challenge Rapunzel's Companion. It gives us a way to deal with these evasive characters, and it's a nice little upside on the 2-drop broom. That again, I'm playing because it's cheap and it comes with mild stats. In the same way, I'm going to be playing the original, the Magic Broom 2-drop Bucket Brigade. Again, top left over here, a 2/2 for 2, and when you play it, shuffle a card from a discard pile to that player's deck. Lackluster ability, but we'll use it when we play it. Again, it's because I'm going after cheap brooms. So we have the 3 cheapest brooms in the deck. And really what I'm looking for is another one. And if we can have 16 brooms in our deck, I think that's enough. So I'll have the 12 payoffs, the 16 brooms, and a bunch of bridge cards. That's going to allow us to make use of these brooms and kind of have a consistent ink curve, a consistent strategy, and not play bad brooms just because this is a brooms deck. So the last broom I'm interested in is the uninkable 5-drop Magic Broom Swift Cleaner at the bottom left of the list over here. It's a 4/4 rush, so kind of a Maui worse stats. And whenever you play this character, you may shuffle all brooms from your discard pile to your deck, which most of the times you don't want to do because you want the payoffs, not the brooms. But you still have a 4/4 rush character that can also quest for 2. So you want to play it kind of like a mini Maui, but the lack of stats is quite a downside. But the main reason why we're playing this, well, it's because it's Broom, but the synergy with Wayward Sorcerer is very appealing. Because Wayward Sorcerer gives you a discount. So this becomes a 4/4 rush for 4. Suddenly that's more interesting. And whenever it dies in combat or gets banished in combat, it bounces back to your hand. Now that's interesting. A reusable discounted rush character that bounces back to your hand. Sign me in. Sign me up. Count me in. Well, one of those. I'm playing this. So Magic Broom Swift Cleaner is going to be 4 of, copy in our deck. Okay. So now we have our brooms. We have our payoffs. What we need is to complete the list. And how do we go about this? Well, if we notice, my best payoffs are Sid that draws a card when it enters the battlefield, and Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer enters the battlefield, pings something. Also, the brooms have some enter the battlefield ability. Not great, but they're okay. It's really for Yen Sid and Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer that I want to get those enter the battlefield abilities again and again if I can. And one of the best ways to do that is with the Madam Mim package. So we'll be playing a full playset of Madam Mim Fox, full playset of Madam Mim Snakes, so we can reuse these abilities. Alright. Well, if we're going to be playing the Madam Mims, what are we lacking in the deck? Yen Sid gives us some card draw. Mickey Mouse gives us some removal. But I'd like a bit more draw, a bit more removal. So I'm opting to play a 3 ofs of the Merlin Rabbit so that we have access to a lot of this card draw. Also, we were only playing some Mickey Mouse Wayward Sorcerer in the 4 slot at this time. So 3 bunnies go well with the Madam Mims. So suddenly I have 3 cards I want to bounce back to my hand and replay. I now have Yen Sid and the bunny in terms of card draw. And with those, I don't feel that it's necessary to go after friends on the other side. Particular, we're not that heavy into the 3 drops. We're more into the 2 drops with all the brooms, the Madam Mims, and Yen Sid that we have so far. So a 3 drop song would feel a little awkward in this list. But we're using the other enter the battlefield, draw card characters to fill up our hand. If I'm playing the Madam Mims, I now have some higher curve cards that have nice enter the battlefield abilities, but I also need another 1 drop so that I'm not stuck with the Mims in hand and I just can't play anything to the board. So I'm going to include 4 copies of Chernabog's Follower as a nice 1 drop. I can ink it if I need to ink it. I can sacrifice it to draw a card in order to essentially shorten my list and have less effective cards in my deck, or I can use it to bounce it back to my hand if I want to make use of a Madam Mim, and then I can ink it later. So it's really just a flexible 1 drop that serves multiple purposes, which is exactly what I want. So now we have most of the top row accounted for. I'm going to include a full playset of Smashes. Again, I was saying I'm a little light on removal with just Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer. So a full playset of Smash is going to help me with these Ursulas, Deceivers of All, because we don't want any of those to stick on the battlefield for too long. So for Smash, we'll also be playing a pair of Grab Your Sword, again as damage-based removal. And if you can go with the Playful Sorcerer and Grab Your Sword, you have a lot of damage that you get to distribute. And that's pretty nice. Okay, well, to complete our suite of removal, we have a handful of damage-based removal, but these big characters can be a problem. So we'll be playing a pair of Ismas just to have a little bit of play against toughness heavy character. Again, Magic Broom's Swift Cleaner is also another way to deal with those, and Madam Mim Fox, but they only have 4 powers, so stuff with 5 willpower and higher are a slight problem. I'm going to be playing 2 Ismas. I mean, Zeus's Lightning is also an acceptable option, but I'm going to go with the Inkable option in the flex spot. And now what I'm looking for are just inkable cards that will fill up my ink curve and provide me with some utilities. I'm going to be playing 2 copies of Beast Tragic Hero, 2 copies of Tinkerbell, just because they're super powerful cards. A bit of card draw, a bit of removal. Gonna get inked most of the time. We'll be playing... Well, that only leaves the 2 locations that I haven't explained. So, the Queen's Castle Mirror Chamber is an inkable flex spot. It's just a very strong location. It's inkable in our 4-drop because the rest are, well, our 1, 2, 3 are well accounted for, and our 5 and above look pretty good. So I figured a couple of copies of Queen's Castle won't hurt. Also gives me another option for card draw, which is nice. Another option for pressure. Just nice overall. And I'm playing 2 copies of the Sorcerer's Tower. Well, why, Yoshi? This is a nice payoff for Brooms. Yes, but is it really that good? So, it's a finisher. That's the way I see it. Sorcerer's Tower is not a card that I want to play in early and then just leave there for a long time. Because if I'm going to be doing that, then I might as well be playing Queen's Castle. Queen's Castle is going to give me 2 ink per turn. And to get that out of the Sorcerer's Tower, I need to have 2 Brooms that I move to the Sorcerer's Tower, and then they quest and they generate 1 extra lore every turn. And that's kind of the purpose of the Sorcerer's Tower. Slightly lesser known location. But really, I need 2 Brooms questing every turn for the Sorcerer's Tower to pay off, as well as the Queen's Castle. So it's not that great, but the main advantage of it is if I already have the Brooms on the battlefield and I slap a Sorcerer's Tower on the battlefield, I can immediately move the Brooms and immediately quest for the bonus. I don't have to wait for my next turn. Location doesn't have to live to my next turn. So it can be a surprise finisher and a burst of lore that just surprises the opponent and swings the table the other way. And that's why I'm playing 2 copies of it. It's a useful flex card, but it's not a centerpiece of the Broom strategy. And that covers the deck list. And all that remains is to watch the deck in action with some games coming right up. We're playing against Emerald Amethyst using our Brooms deck, trying to sweep our competition as we find a Mim Fox, a nice Playful Sorcerer, a handful of Brooms, grab your sword and Tinkerbell. Don't need so many uninkables this early. Though maybe I'll keep 1 Swift Cleaner. We have 1 Broom, 1 Mickey, a Mim Fox, and an inkable. That seems good. Keep it like that. Oh, nice. And we find Chernabog's follower, as well as a Yen Sid. Pretty nice pickup. Let's start by inking Miss Tinkerbell, since we're not going to be needing her services right now. And play Chernabog's follower. Just trying to get a little bit of action on the battlefield. With our 2-1, whenever he quests, we can banish it to draw a card. Ooh, another Mickey. That's pretty nice. Let's sacrifice Chernabog. Pick up a new card. Cycle through our deck. Oh, another Yen Sid. That's interesting. I don't think I need... I think I prefer having 1 Mim and 1 Yen than having the double Yen Sid. So I'll ink it. Play Broom number 1. What does this Broom do? Aerial Cleaner. It's really just 2-3 evasive. Well, not evasive. Evasive challenger. Ooh, opponent's trying to pick off songs from her hand using Ursula, the devious song hand picker. Trying to seize my thoughts. Or seize my voice, lyrics. Lyric seize. The opponent goes to quest with the 1-3. Little Flynn Rider over there. Don't need this extra Chernabog. So off you go. And we'll land Yen. It's going to allow us to pick up an extra card. Opponent doesn't have any good challenges here. So we'll go to quest with our Magic Broom. Passing the turn back. Yen Sid, one of the big payoffs of our deck. Simple yet effective. Play him, you draw a card, and then he's a slightly tougher inkable Pinocchio. As long as you have 2 brooms, 2 or more brooms. Then he becomes a 3 quester. Ooh, opponent plays Diablo. The card drawing bird. Potentially problematic, but with a pair of Mickey Mouses in our hand, it's not that big a threat. Now, the question is, do I want to go Madam Mim Fox, or do I want to play the second Broom? Probably want to ink my smash. And I would really like to land Playful Sorcerer to take out Diablo next turn. But to do that, I need another Broom in play. But the ink just doesn't add up nicely if I do that. Although I do have the Magic Brooms here that can challenge Diablo, which puts the opponent in a slightly awkward spot. Alright, we'll just pick up Sid for value. So quested Sid, bring it back with the Fox. Might as well take out the exerted Flynn. Why not? I can't see the opponent playing any bad tricks on us, so I'll take the opportunity to quest with our Broom here. We're close to the payoffs, although we did use Yen Sid a bit. Ooh, what's that? We'll figure it out as soon as the opponent finishes resolving their trigger. Bell and Train Mystic. 3/3, when you play this character, move 1 damage counter from 1 character you own to an opposing character. Diablo draws a card. Ooh, and we've had a fantastic pickup with good old Mickey Wayward Sorcerer, who's just gained a ton of value off of the new cards because we get to play it, and suddenly this Broom is going to bounce back in our hand right after taking down the Bird of Doom. Pick it back up, and then we can play it for 1. Fortunately, I don't have anything that I really want to ink. I do need the double Broom, so I'm going to have to ink a Mickey. I can land a Broom and go boom, 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 Broom, Room. Something else that's out of mana. Don't want to be out of mana. There's no mana, there's ink. Ink mana, Lorcana. Close enough. Lorcanian poetry. As good as what AI is going to throw at you, right? Alright, so our opponent has a 3/3, decides to trade with our Madam Mim Fox. Now we have this solid position with a Wayward Sorcerer and an Aerial Room. Ooh, opponent wants us to drop our hand with Bell Hidden Archer. I don't like that game plan. Let's start with Yen. Yen Sid, draw a card. Picking up a castle. Gonna ink the castle to land a big broom. A Broom Rusher. I think we can safely quest here. Belle doesn't want to be attacking. Her abilities, whenever she is challenged, we have to discard all our cards. So even if the opponent can trade with our Wayward Sorcerer, I don't think that's in the best interests of our opponent. Opponent playing some kind of discard style deck, trying out some of the new stuff. Appreciate that. I do like the Bell damage movers. I think they're pretty fun. Although they're better if you're playing with bulky characters with lots of willpower like Maui. Bell's a little too fragile for this type of interaction. Although, maybe it's a Bell tribal deck. The beauty and the utter beauty doesn't have quite the nice ring to it. Although if you want a nice ring to it, it'd be Bell and Lord of the Rings. That has a nice ring in it. Lots of power to it too. Opponent quests with Bell. She does quest for 3, so we can't leave her there for too long. Ooh, and the Bell damage mover comes in. Moves the damage off from Ursula to... Thought it was going to be to the Broom. But apparently it goes to the Wayward Sorcerer. Have 2 Brooms in play. Let's make that 3. And suddenly, Playful Sorcerer gets to nuke. Nuclear Sorcerer. Take out the opponent's 5-drop. Now that's what I call a payoff for Brooms. And, well, I guess we quest. Do I have an advantage to take out Ursula? Not really. Just quest aggressively. Using Yen Sid's powerful quest for 3, which obviously doesn't matter that much right now. It's all about a Playful Sorcerer who wasn't that playful. It was more like, you get a timeout in the banishing zone for the rest of the game. One's on 6. A little late for the Cursed Merfolks there. I think this one's in the bag. Or in the Wizard's hat. Just having access to the card draw from Yen Sid is like a cheaper version of Maleficent. And you don't see it as much as you're going through the game. It's like, oh, he didn't do that much, but did draw us like 2-3 cards while still being a questing threat on the board. I'd say he did stuff. The Mickeys did, Shirley did stuff too. So nice victory for the Brooms. We're playing against Mufasa, I mean Steel Amber. And we find ourselves with a Smash Merlin Broom, the big Broom, the Sweeper, another uninkable with Grab Your Sword. That's too many. I'm going to keep the Rabbit, because the Rabbit early on is just really good at letting you catch up on your ink. Keeping the double Smash, mostly because I looked too quickly. Probably should have sent one back. They're nice inkable cards anyways. Amber Steel, sorry, that's not Mufasa, that's Amber Steel Songs. don't really want to get the Chernabog's follower blown to smithereens by Let the Storm Rage on, so I'm just going to ink it, not commit anything to the board until we have our aerial cleaners coming up next turn. Opponent sings the bare necessities, picks up a smash. Alright, the opponent's just going heavy on the board. We'll play Magic Broom on turn 2 and hope that the opponent doesn't shift the Robin and sing a whole new world, because that would be pretty devastating. Let the Storm Rage on. A little bit of damage. I'm okay with a lantern. And the opponent just committed a lot of cards to the battlefield, picked out our hand a little bit. Now the opponent is running out of ammo. This is much too expensive at this time. Let's smash that Robin. I'm really afraid of the shifted Robin at this point. I'm going to take the trade with Cinderella too. I'm not sure it's the right move, because we can land a Wayward Sorcerer next turn and then have a much better trade. Keeping our Broom. Ooh. Phil comes in. Phil, your hero gain Challenger 1, and whenever you play a hero, you gain 1 lore. Seems fine. Actually, we're going to be playing our card draw, and let's go Mickey. We're playing Brooms, right? Let's play Mickey and his Brooms. Wayward Sorcerer comes in, and then along came Zeus. It's really how the card is meant to be said. You make a nice play, and then along came Zeus to disrupt everything. Alright, well, I'm gonna send away that smash and go sweeping a little bit. So I can shuffle my Brooms into my deck. Sure, why not? Take out Phil. Offering to trade for Stitch for opponent. Opponent finds a small Robin Hood, decides to go for the trade. Which Broom is it? Swift Cleaner. Turn passes back to us. We don't have anything too good to ink or to throw. The Robin. Chernabog's followers is absolutely awful in the face of this Robin. So to the ink you go. 5. Big Robin comes to play. Now we find the Illusory Sweeper. Right, well, I kind of want to lose this Merlin. Gonna send it away. I need more stuff on the board, so I'm gonna cast my Mickey. Ping one to the big guy. And we'll keep the Broom. And that's a bad use of Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer. It's still a 3/4 resisting character. Opponent takes out our bunny, but we get a card. It's all good. It's what we wanted. A little bit of damage on our opponent's Champion of Sherwood. As we find a Madam Mim fox. Snake. Mixing up animals. Alright, well, we'll take out Robin over here. Opponent gets to pick up a card. We'll play another Mickey. What could go wrong? Paying you for 1. Keep the broom. I guess I could have. I should have quested. Let's Storm Rage on. Opponent takes out our broom. Makes sense because of the resist on the Mickeys. Opponent didn't want to waste that for 1 point of damage. Ooh, Spectacular Singer comes in. What does she find? And then along came Zeus. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Paying you for 0. Not exactly what I want to do with the Brooms deck, but you play the magical sorcerers you're dealt with. Do you have enough lightning bolts? I don't think so. I hope not. Ooh, that's problematic. I'll take out Ariel. Take 1 in the exchange. Then I'll bounce it back with a fox. That's all we can do, right? Otherwise, we ink him in, go snake, bounce it back, play it again. Get a bit more pressure on the battlefield. Ooh, big stitch. And we find a broom. So we are going to end up having to ink one of those. I think we'll ink the snake. I ink the fox, because I can snake into Mickey again. Play the brooms, play Mickey, and you shall no longer draw cards. I'm falling behind, so I got a quest. We've partially denied our opponent's ability to draw cards, although Stitch is still there. And it's still a problem. Small Stitch. Now the terrible stuff that I don't want to see happens. Opponent is dropping multiple baby Stitches. No wonder Stitch is so popular. He just has so many offsprings or mini baby aliens next to him that just keep on supporting his act. Raging Fire for 5. That's not nice. Where are all our Mickeys? Alright, well, honestly, that's game. But let's take out a Stitch because we can. Yes, power of the snake. Replay some stuff. And let's pick up Playful Sorcerer. The opponent can quest for 8. Almost lethal. And we're really in no position to contest our opponent's lead. We were in pretty good position until that tragic hero beast came in. Yeah, I don't think that was a good play by our opponent. We were in a terrible position. We didn't have any cards in hand. I mean, the opponent's so far ahead, it probably doesn't matter. But we do have Grab Your Swords in the deck. And we had almost no outs, and now we had some, which Could have been avoided. But we really need to draw one of those now. Alright. How do we come back from this? Well, we need to grab your sword. And we can draw a card off of Yen Sid, so grab your sword. We finally grab your sword. Alright. Alright. We have to hardcast it. Nuke our opponent's board quite severely. And Stitch can be taken out. We can take out the small Stitch. And suddenly, this is a whole new ball game. Okay, maybe not all new, but we went from completely dead to partially resurrected. Now, our opponent still has lots of gas, and I still prefer the position of our opponent. But we do have Yen Sid to the rescue. Opponent fires back their own copy of Grab Your Sword, hard casted, which gives us tempo again. Well, once they're done playing their 15 spells for the turn. That's why I love that Hammer Steel songs. There's just so many things to do. We can play the sweeper, and that fill is quite problematic. So I think we want to go for that. That's 5, and probably a Queen's Castle that just has a big threat. Don't really need that Broom, although Chernabog's follower is not great either. So let's go with our makeshift Maui. I don't really want Brooms now. Land a Queen's Castle. Pass the turn back. Opponent's on 21 cards, which I'm looking at like if it had a chance of mattering, but it's very, very unlikely. Big Cindy comes in. I don't think I have an answer to Big Cindy. Maybe a pair of Ismas. I think I've inked one. But Cinderella doesn't deal as effectively with the Queen's Castle. Miss Ariel did have a plan though. That's our turn to find a Beast Tragic hero. So that's what we do. Play some stuff. Try to land as much stuff as we can to the board. One can quest for 4 to 18. But 18 is not game, so I expect our opponent to do some challenges here. Big Stitch comes in. Grab Your Sword hurts quite a bit. Raging Fire takes out our beast. But we still have some questers on the battlefield. And we pick up the card draw Broom. So we're at 14. No real way to challenge Cinderella. An opponent can quest for lethal with Cinderella and Stitch. So I guess we need to draw into an Isma now. Is there another way? I mean, we cast for 2. No. We have to eat that Broom and find ourselves an Isma. Activate the Broom first. Sorcerer's Tower can allow us to quest to 18. I don't think we come back from this. I'm going to do the fun thing. Play the Sorcerer's Tower. Migrate to Brooms. Get a quest. Scare our opponent. And then move to a different location because we can. It's more appealing. And just watch in case our opponent makes a mistake. Which seems very unlikely since the opponent just needs to tap to turn their card sideways and hit us to defeat. But that grab your sword was majestic. So, great game. Lots of back and forth in this one. We are playing against Emerald Amethyst using the Brooms. Trying to sweep our opponent off their feet with Broom Broom, Mim Merlin, Mim Broom Broom. Alright. What do we do with that? Send that away. Don't really need a pair of small brooms. Going first. Rest seems fine. Just go for a little bit more card draw. Chernabog's followers, which we don't really need because now we have the Illuminary Keeper, whose really only purpose is to increase our brooms count. Looks like our opponent's playing aggro. Pegasus aggro. This looked like a tune card from Pegasus. Let me know in the comments below if you like tunes and know what I'm talking about. Pegasus tunes. Not cartoons like Lightning McQueen. Those are really the cartoons. Sorry, I'm laughing at that one because it's horrible. Alright. Well, this is a good time for terrible puns as our opponent is pondering. Turn passes back. We find another Chernabog's follower that we eat straight away. Then drop a magic broom. Killer of Pegasus. Now we pass turn back. But maybe the opponent's not going to read our card because it's a new card with the aerial killer. Aerial cleaner, sorry, unintentional one. Can't deal with Pegasus. Oh, it is kind of funny. The room just sees little Pegasus and goes all the way through the banished lands. Can you imagine how many broom sweeps that is to just take the character off of the battlefield and bring him to the banished land? Then again, I guess the banished land is just that little rectangular hole next to the skeleton head. I mean, they're a worse place to be banished. You still have somewhat access to the kingdom. Yes, our opponent seems to be playing a standard, very hard aggro style list. Pegasus goes to quest. The opponent did not read. And our magic room will go take it out. And let's keep a snake. Opponent doesn't have pressure for this. And we will heal our evasive challenger broom. Turn passes back to our opponent. Queen's Castle. Not yet. As Flynn goes to quest. It's really annoying, these discard type characters. Never want to challenge them, but you have to. Nah, snake is good. I already have a broom on battlefield, so we'll get rid of one. And we'll land our evasive killer broom, as well as Yen Sid. Pick up a card. Ooh, another big broom. I think I have to take care of Flynn. Let's get rid of the snake. Yeah, you can remain ready. I don't want Diablo to go and challenge you. Honestly, I'm very surprised at how good these aerial cleaners are. Opponent bounces something. Are you really going to have to bounce my aerial cleaner? That's just how oppressive they are against this particular deck, who's playing Pegasus, probably Pascal and Diablo. Are like, ha ha ha, free questing. No, not so much. I can challenge those with my vanilla 2-3 with a slight upside. That's actually quite relevant to the metagame, apparently. Alright, we find another Broom. Don't overly care for that one. I do want to play double Broom this turn. So I can have the heavy quest with Yen Sid, since our opponent's playing the heavy aggro strategy. I think we can afford it. Let's send something back. Opponent, you can have a Pegasus. I want to sacrifice a small Broom. Not really. I'll just keep it there. Keeping our Broom count high for when we draw a Mickey Bombardier. Amethyst Emerald. There's no real board wipes that our opponent can play. I mean, there's King of Atlantis. Then Fox comes in, takes out Yen Sid. That's probably what you wanted to do. I'll sacrifice our small Broom. Oh, yeah. Let's draw a card first. Gonna be playing that Merlin rabbit anyways. Find a Min Snake. Don't really care for a Min Snake right now. But now you can quest. We have more stuff on the battlefield and fewer cards in hand on the hard aggro deck. Bit of a head scratcher there. But I guess it's just the way it's panned out. Our cheap Brooms are pretty cheap. Cloud Kicker. It's going to kick back our Evasive Killer back to our hand. Min Fox brings her back. Bounce, bounce, bounce. And the Mins eliminate each other. Most of our cards want to be bounced back in hand. Find a snake. That's fine, that Broom can stay. Since you love that Broom so much, let's play it again. And we can eat this one. Not the best at this particular time. As we pass the turn back to our opponent. Curse Merfolks. Very oppressive on turn 1. Now feels kind of meh. Or kind of meh folk, should I say. Cloud Kicker keeps on kicking. That thing is a major annoyance. Alright. I think we want to go bunny snake. Ooh, smash. I'll just pick up some cards. Tinkerbell. I like a Tinkerbell. Especially in this particular situation. We can ink ourselves our smash. And Fox can quest. I don't really want to make this Magic Broom vulnerable. Such will remain. Queen's Castle comes in. And the snake protects the merfolks. Guess we'll just hold on to the Tinkerbell for now. Cloud Kicker goes kicking. Little do you know that we have aggressive brooms. I don't really want either of your abilities right now. As the Swift Cleaner is going to go in. Do I want the damage on the Broom? No, I think I want the damage on the Fox. Oh yeah, my bad. Rush can only challenge characters, not locations. Never mind, it can challenge location. What am I thinking about? I said that because I saw a little icon. Then I thought, well, Maui can challenge locations. And if Maui can challenge locations, then why can't my undersized Broom challenge location? It can challenge as soon as they're played. Opponent really didn't like our Madam Mim. Well, now's the time for the Tinkerbell, which will seal the game. Take out our opponent's cursed merfolk. Then we can quest with the gang. Let's play a new Broom, eat our other Broom. It's like a Madam Mim, except without a Madam Mim. And that's how we take the game. Oppressing the oppressor with our magic brooms. We're playing against Steel Ruby. Combination we don't see very often. It's probably one of the rarest combinations of that. But beware the board wipes, because they've got them all. As we have Chernabog's follower and Broom turn 1, we don't need so many followers. Well, we don't need so many Chernabog's follower. We need Genius Yoshi followers. So don't forget to subscribe. And Magic Broom, Mickey, seems fine. Send the rest back. Smash and a very yummy Mickey that we find. That's the 4-drop. Let's open up with Broom's number 1. The ones that want to just trash themselves. Illuminary Keeper, 1/2. And you play another character, you can sack it to draw a card. Opponent plays a Robin Hood, taking things seriously. This point's a little early in the game. I think I'm gonna have to sacrifice this one. So I have a nice Inkable on turn 3, but nothing to play. Let's keep it. Let's keep it. We'll ink Queen's Castle, and if we can get to 4, then Merlin Rabbit is going to give us card advantage. Well, I guess Wayward Sorcerer as well. This one's a free Broom. Imperial Proclamation. Whatever one of your character challenges, you may pay 1 and 1 less for the... Okay. Yeah, so you get a discount for every time you challenge. As we find our nice 3-drop, ink the Queen's Castle, and we'll upgrade. Balance back to Magic Brooms. Yeah, I'm not sure how the trigger works for that. Leave the other rooms on the battlefield. If it gets bounced to your hand, do you still have the option to banish it to draw a card. I mean, it doesn't say banish from the battlefield. I guess you can banish a card from your hand when you play another character. Let the storm rage on. I don't like that. At least it's hard casted by our opponent. It's not too much of a tempo advantage there. Yeah, I have to keep the payoff, so. Fortunately, Broom goes away. Bunny comes to the battlefield. Well, you can quest. Not the best of plays. This is looking too much like a Ruby Amethyst line. But we need some cards. And powerful cards do powerful stuff and should be played. Opponent shifts into Big Robin. As is traditional. One Last Hope. Gains resist 2 until the start of your next turn. Okay. So opponent sung. Okay, that was a mistake by the opponent, an accident. Opponent sung it, gave resist to Robin, who's now exerted. And it's been a bit of a waste. Now what do I do? Don't overly care for that Chernabog. So we're going to ink it. There's no point in landing this Mickey, so I'll land a Wayward Sorcerer. I guess we can quest with them. Quest with the wizards. The metamorphosed wizards. Transmogrified wizards. Let me know in the comments below, how do we say transformed into these animals? Animorphed? Ooh, these were old books. Haven't read an Animorph in quite some time. Opponent's just playing weird shenanigans. Charge, Challenger, and Resist 2. Opponent is playing Keep Robin Hood Alive. LeFou comes back, readies Robin. Okay, second challenge takes out the bunny, gain 2 lore, gain an ink off of it. It's interesting. Opponent's running out of cards though. So we pick up a rushing broom. Ooh, and that is wombo combo-ish. And by wombo combo, I really mean it's not that combo-ish. It's more attack! Play the broom. And challenge for 4. Oh, it has resist? No, Robin only has 3 power. Come on, genius Yoshi. I was hoping to sacrifice my broom. Oh well. Chernabog's follower still took out their big Robin. Guess the opponent could be playing Whole New Worlds. Maybe it's just a Robin Hood, gain resist, control the board into a whole new world type of deck. One's going to take out our hasty broom. Not so fast. You don't get to use that Mickey ability to bounce it back in hand. And plays a 2/3 Mulan. Which really is a shifting target for the bigger Mulan. But we're not going to let you shift. We're going to hardcast grab your sword. Because I'm afraid of big Mulan. I'll take the opportunity to quest with the gang. Yeah, let's try to find ourselves an Inkable. Goodbye, Chernabog's followers. We find a tragic hero. Which we're going to ink. Play some brooms. And we're going to give our opponent something they don't like. I don't know, 1-drop Robin seems pretty bad at this point in the game. Wow, stacking the opponent's deck with super small probabilities that they had something that they don't want. Litos comes in. let's see, 2 resistant Titan. I can ping it for 1, which will do nothing. I can ping it for 3, which will take it down. Maybe it's worth it. It allows me to get a nice free quest in. Not the most interesting line, but it's effective. Ooh, nice new Donald. Not so good on its own. Still, nice new Donald. We're gonna go with another Broom, another Mickey. Should have played them in the opposite order. I guess with all of these resist boosting cards and the ready target character, that Donald can give a lot of ink, a lot of lore pretty fast to the characters on the board. I can see that. Opponent decides to target our Broom. Not sure why, because we get it back to our hand. And Milan takes out one of our Mickeys. Not a Wayward Sorcerer. Thankfully, we have another one. And the opponent concedes. And the face of our Broom and our sweeping oppression. It's now time for the debrief. Well, the deck did pretty good. The Brooms are still a little weak. I mean, the Bucket Brigade just doesn't pack quite enough of a punch. But overall, the payoffs are paying off. I mean, Yen Sid and Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer are doing some pretty great things. Maybe I'm slightly disappointed in Playful Sorcerer because I can only typically ping for 1 or 2 based on the Brooms on the battlefield, which is still good. It's still pretty good, but it's not groundbreaking fantastic, especially since we're forced to be playing all of these cheaper Brooms that don't do very much, but we do go wide very fast. And with Yen Sid, with the Madam Mim's combination and the Merlin bunnies, we do keep a nice good flow of resources, and the resources flow well. The removal is fine. The Magic Broom Swift Cleaner does a good job, especially paired with the Wayward Sorcerer, so that goes well. Wayward Sorcerer is just very good in this deck, and I'd say the curve is nice. The deck feels pretty fluid. We struggle a bit with some of these higher end characters, and maybe we need to sprinkle in a couple of Zeus's Lightning and maybe up the Isma count. And I don't know, what do we take out? Maybe we thin out our smashes a little bit, or maybe we remove Chernabog's Follower or Min Fox. Some minor tweaks of the list based on what you're expecting in the metagame. Depends on what you're thinking you're going to be playing against. If you're expecting a lot of Ursula's Deceiver Vol, then you'll need the smashes. I must say, the one card that has impressed me the most is the Magic Broom Aerial Cleaner. And it's dumb because it's just a vanilla 2/3 that can challenge evasive characters. But people are just excited to be playing Diablo, playing a lot of small willpower evasives, and they're like, ha ha ha, you can't touch those. Well, yes, I can. Yes, I can. And that surprise effect was actually pretty good. And kind of like the 2-drop Jafar was doing with Into the Inklands. It's just vanilla stats, but serving its purpose. And having that Broom on the battlefield gives me the synergies for my payoffs, while still being a nicely stats threat that's relevant to the current metagame. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you're into Brooms and their payoffs, and I'd encourage you to try out this list or tweak it a little bit and try out your flavor of it at your local tournament or online for fun. Let me know how it goes, and don't forget to have fun. I hope that you've had a great time, and I will see you next time.